Welcome back. It's Dr. Jen for Bony, better known as DocJenFit. And if you ever notice that you get like leaking, or when you sneeze, or you feel like, oh, did I pee myself? Might I pee myself? I'm scared. Maybe you can't do jumping jacks, or you feel like jump ropes are just like a no-go anymore. And it's not just for women who've had babies, okay? This is for anyone who has a pelvic floor, which is everyone. Now, this is what's most important. First of all, this is not medical advice, okay? This is just education. If you are really having these symptoms, if you're having pain, if you're having irritation, if you're having these leaking issues, or you notice that you're going to the bathroom all the time, or you feel like you might not make it to a bathroom sometimes, these are all signs and symptoms that you might and probably should please go see a pelvic floor therapist. Now, here's the thing. It's not talked about enough. It's not even referred after you have a baby. It should be. Pelvic floor physical therapy is a specialized field to really help you understand what's happening in the tissues and the muscles, because it's a whole group of muscles that hold our pelvic floor right at the base. When we breathe, it moves. When we move, it moves. And we shouldn't necessarily have to consciously think about it. So if you're having symptoms, even maybe hip pain that is deep, back pain, this can all contribute to what's happening at that pelvic floor. And what we've been told, especially as women, is just do your Kegels. Just Kegel and squeeze. And when you're sitting at a light, just Kegel and squeeze. Well, first of all, sometimes people don't even know what a Kegel is. Maybe they're pushing down. Maybe they're tucking their tailbone under and squeezing. Or maybe you're doing it so much that you've made a super tight pelvic floor. That's not also good. We need to be able to fully relax a muscle in order to contract a muscle. If I'm constantly doing little pulses in my bicep, I'm never going to get anywhere. If I really want to strengthen this tissue, I need full length of it and then full contraction of it. So we're going to go over the lengthening of a pelvic floor, getting it to relax so that you know how to then contract. And we're not even going to talk about Kegels. And this can help with your symptoms. However, I don't know what could be happening with you. And you're not alone. If you're open to dropping below what you feel, what happens in that pelvic floor. I mean, I've heard my cousin even say, feels like my vagina is going to fall out. It's a real thing. And you're not alone in feeling these things. Now, what I like to do is grab my tune-up fitness balls, my yoga therapy balls. So this is from Tune-Up Fitness. And these are actually the Therapy Ball Plus, so they're going to be a little bit bigger. I like to use just the regular yoga tune-up therapy balls. So those are going to be just a touch smaller for what we're doing. Now, what I love about these balls, and I've talked about them very often, is that they have natural give to them. So there's just this ability to squish, and especially we're gonna be sitting on it, so it's gonna allow your body to absorb a little bit more. And as we disperse pressure a little bit wider, it's not so pinpointed, so it's not gonna like irritate or cause a lot of pain. Sometimes lacrosse balls are just so centralized in one place and they're so hard that it doesn't do the necessary reaction, which is talking to our nervous system, getting our nervous system to send a different signal down so that we can relax. It's not breaking up any tissue, it's just talking to the tissues. So, and the other thing about this is that the material that's on it allows for just really good grip within the skin. So anytime you're making skin contact with these balls, it's way better than a tennis ball, which is going to slip right out. And it's way better than a lacrosse ball, which is just too hard. That's not the goal that we're going for, okay? So we're going to take this ball, we're going to put it into the pelvic floor. Now, again, your pelvic floor has a group of muscles. It's not going to go up any holes. And people laugh every time I say that, but it's necessary. Now, all we're going to do is between our sit bones, so you can actually take your hand and feel your sit bone. You don't have to be seated like this too if it's too uncomfortable for you. You could be seated in a chair. Make sure it's a pretty hard chair. You don't want a soft chair or like a couch, because then we're not going to really feel where the ball is, okay? So take your hand and feel your sit bone. And it's a bone. It's not a muscle, that's a bone, okay? So you could feel like if I rock back, I don't feel the bone anymore. If I rock forward, oh, and then you might miss it again, but when you feel it, you know that, oh, I'm sitting up straight and I'm on that sit bone. It's nice and tough. It's hard. Okay. Now, when you feel that, you're just going to slip your fingers right inside that sit bone. So here's the sit bone and I'm going to tuck my fingers right inside. Again, if I go a little bit too far over, I might be then going up some holes. So we're not going to go up any holes. It's right inside that bone. That is where all the musculature is, and it's going to wrap around front and it's going to wrap around the back. And you might have a different area of tension or pressure than I would or someone else. So yours might be a little tighter toward the front or maybe a little tighter toward the back. You get to explore with a ball. So we're going to take that and then put it right inside that sit bone. So again, it's just right inside. And even with the Therapy Plus, I'm not going up any places. Like there's enough room and space within that tissue to really get in there. So again, so I can kind of scoop back, and as I scoop back, the ball's going to go forward a little bit more. But if I scoop forward, the ball will go back a little bit more. Okay. And maybe you need to kind of use your hands and you're like, ooh, I can't quite relax into that. I've never felt that pressure before, because a lot of us don't have any awareness down there. No one talks about it enough, right? So you want to find where that pressure is for you. It's going to be a little intense at first. That's okay. So find where it's like, ooh, I feel it. And then start to see, okay, can I wrap my hands around my low rib cage belly region and feel the pressure of my tension in here? So I want to feel my breath breathe in. I want to feel that breath come into my hands. So not up into my shoulders or chest, right? So feel that breath right here. And then relax that breath really slow on the exhale. Inhale, breathe nice and slow. Exhale. Now, when our pelvic floor is really tight, that can actually cause some tension. So say you're jumping on a really tight pelvic floor already. Well, that tightness can actually cause some leaking. So it's not always about making it super strong, but it's about making a pelvic floor functional. And we make it functional by having that ability to lengthen and contract. So that's why this lengthening portion is so, so important. Now, keep breathing as I'm talking to you. I want you to do this for about, you can either count like 15 to 20 breaths, really, really slow, or you can take about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. See where you need a little bit more. And when you take it out, you should feel a noticeable difference of like, whoa, now I know where that pelvic floor is, one, and you just feel less tension, maybe even around the hip, the back. You might not even realize. So we get to bring a lot more awareness and attention to this pelvic floor than it's ever been told before. And you get to know that you're not alone in your symptoms, and that there are other people that feel similar things and don't have any answers. And I'm going to drop a link below as well as to one of the women. She created Dr. Tracy. My goodness, I'm forgetting her last name right now, but I'll drop it on the screen. But she created a site called pelvicguru.com. And you can actually look up where a certified pelvic floor therapist might be in an area near you. Now you can also use Google. You can also call around to different pelvic or physical therapy locations around you and ask, do you do pelvic floor therapy? A lot of times one of their therapists might be specialized in it or working to be specialized in it. So there's a lot of help. We just need to ask more questions and know that there are people that are here to support us through our journey. And these new symptoms don't have to be your new normal. Okay, they're just a phase. And the more that we start to acknowledge our body, come back into our body, breathe into these areas of restriction, you might notice that it starts to release. Okay, using the breath and down regulating that symptom, really long, slow exhales is so important here. You can also go into child's pose right after. Maybe you feel a difference, and so you're like, oh, let me see what that feels like. Breathe into it. Take the long inhale. Actually, the big inhale actually helps to lengthen and expand that pelvic floor. A slow exhale just helps your whole system to relax. So, but a big inhale toward that pelvic floor, toward that belly and that low rib cage region is going to help to expand that what you're feeling into that pelvic floor, help that lengthening so that we get that full contraction. So again, don't just focus on Kegels. Focus on down regulating, focus on your breath, focus on sitting on balls and finding those areas of tension and see what can change. You got to try this for a little bit though in order to see what you start to feel. And please, if you're having any symptoms, look up that pelvic therapist and just see what it could be like to give back to your body at least one session. If you can't pay for a lot, just say, okay, how can I save up for one session and tell the therapist this is my only time with you, so please make it as valuable as possible and give me the tools so that I can help myself. But going and just having someone bring you that awareness of what's happening is going to be so crucial so that you continue your journey and create a new normal within your body. Comment below, let me know what you're feeling and if you tried out the ball. And I'll also link up where you can get these therapy balls as well. So again, just click down below and check out the links. If you love what you're learning, don't forget there's so much more that I have in store. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos so that you don't miss anything and you continue to learn and feel amazing within your body.